Alright guys, in this video we're going to take a look at ngFor and how we can loop through arrays in our template. So we're going to start off here in the sandbox component. I've removed the separate HTML and CSS files. We're starting with our basic template included in the TS file, just so you can see everything that's going on. But we're going to create an array of people. So let's say people, and we're going to set this equal to an array. I'm just going to put some names in here. We'll say Rick. We'll say Daryl. And if you know these names, you're pretty awesome. Okay, Carl and let's say Glenn. Okay. So we have these people, and let's say we want to loop through them inside of our template. Now, we could just output people using string interpolation. So if we go up here and let's actually just go on a separate line here, and we'll tab that over, and let's just go people. Okay, let's see what that does. What that's going to do is it looks at the array and it's just going to give us a comma separated value list. Okay, so it's taking each value in the array and outputting it, separating them with a comma. Now, if that's your goal, if that's what you want, then that's great. But what if you want to loop through them and do something for each person? For instance, put them inside of a list item. So what we're going to do here is go and put a UL, and inside here we're going to put an LI, and then this is what we want to we want to iterate through the people and output a list item for each one. So in this LI, we're going to add a directive. We're going to put an asterisk and then ngFor. Okay, and then we're going to set that equal to, and then we're going to define let person of people. Okay, and what this is doing is it's saying look at the array of people in this property, and for each one we want to define that specific value, that individual value, for instance Rick, as person. And then we can use that from within our template. So let's close this LI. And then in here, let's just go and put person. So if we go ahead and save that, now you can see that each person is being output into a list item. All right, another thing you could do is you could actually add an index to each one. So I'm just going to copy this UL, paste it in again, and then we can go right after people here and put a semicolon, and we can say let I equals index. Okay, so that's going to be an index of each value. So in here, let's just put in I like that. Okay, and now you'll see we get 0, 1, 2, 3. It gives us the index of each one. Now you may want to include this and have this start with 1 instead of 0, just really for physical purposes. And you could just do I plus 1, because remember we can do expressions from inside these curly braces. So now we have 1 through 4. All right, now we can also loop through an array of objects, because right here it's just an array of just strings. But let's go and let's say people2, and we'll set that to an array, and this array is going to include some objects. So let's say first name, we'll set that to Rick, and the last name, we'll set that to Grimes, and then let's go ahead and copy that, paste in a few more. So this second one here, we're going to say Daryl Dixon, and this will be Carl Grimes, and Glenn Ree. So now we have an array of people objects with a first name and a last name. So we can go up here and let's just grab this UL. We'll paste that in, and same thing, let person of people, except we can access each individual property. So for instance, we can say person dot first name, and then we'll do person dot last name. Save that, and let's see. Oh, this should be people too. There we go. So we get our first and last name in an unordered list. Now we can grab any of these values from within any function and change them or delete them or whatever we want. So let's go and create, under people2, we'll create a constructor. And let's say this dot people, and let's take the 2 index. Now arrays always start with 0, so if we look here we have 0, 1, 2. So we're going to take Carl and let's set him to Carol. Alright, we'll go ahead and save that, and now you can see Carol has turned to Carl has turned to Carol here and here. Alright, so hopefully that gives you a good understanding of how we can loop through arrays in our template. In the next video, we're going to take a look at ngIf and ngSwitch, which are conditionals that we can use in our Angular templates.